Hello and welcome back to another episode. Now, I haven't had a good day up the allotment in about 2 weeks now, and there is so much to do and there is lots to plant out. This is my first full day up the allotment in 2 whole weeks. I've just been so busy with other projects and things that the allotment's sort of been put on the back burner for a little bit. And I really missed being up here. It's been such a pain not being able to get up here, but I have been busy. I haven't just been lazy. And what I've been doing is setting up the online shop for Lavender and Leeks, which is on the blog. So the blog and the shop's combined on the same website. So yeah, I've been really busy setting the shop up, just doing all the back end stuff, finding the stock to put on the shop, and then just doing that and the blog. And we've also been doing some garden fairs as well. We've been selling at a few fairs. So it's been really busy, but it's been good fun, and now the shop's all up and running. So if you want to go and have a look at it, it's just over on the website, which is www.lavenderandleeks.co.uk, and we just sell gardening stuff. There's vintage and there's new stuff which looks vintage. So there's things like galvanised tubs and galvanised troughs and planters and crates. What else is there? There's aprons and there's baskets and there's old tools as well. There is a lot over there, so if you do want to go and check it out, that would be really great. But yeah, I've been really busy doing that, but now it's all set up. Hopefully it will be a little bit easier to do. So yeah, the allotment's been put on the back burner for a little bit, and everything's been growing really well at home in the greenhouse, and it's all dying to get out. So on the list today is to plant out the red cabbage. I've also bought up the pumpkin, so there's the giant pumpkin and the crown prince pumpkin, and also the Munchkin pumpkins, which will go up the archway. There's also the globe artichoke to go in today, and a small sunflower variety called Junior. There's some dill as well, which will go into the brassica bed. There's some nasturtiums which will go in the brassica bed as well, and that's the jobs for today. There is a lot more to go in, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it all today, because there's other jobs like I need to put a support around the broad beans, because some of them are drooping over a little bit with all this wind, and they have some beans on them like 5-6 inches long, so they need just a simple frame around them, which will just be bamboos in the corners and down the sides with some twine wrapped around, just to stop the wind blowing them over. I also need to earth up the potatoes really badly. I've only earthed them up once, and that's when there was a risk of frost, and I don't think there's going to be any risk of frost now, but they need earthing up. I need to take out the Swiss chard, the older Swiss chard, to make room for the brassicas which are going to go in there. And then I just need to dig over that bed a little bit, because the pumpkins are going to go in there as well. And then, as well as all that, I need to net the fruit cage. I'm not going to do all this today because the fruit cage is going to take a while, but that needs to be netted really bad, because there's lots of fruits forming on the blackcurrant bushes and the gooseberry bushes, and the raspberry canes have just gone crazy. They're popping up everywhere, which is good, but they are getting a little bit crowded, so I might need to thin them out a little bit, and obviously tie them up the frame as well. But obviously I need to net it all, otherwise the birds will eat all the berries, and I don't want the birds to eat all the berries, because I want to eat all the berries, and they beat me to it last year, so I've got to net the fruit cage. But what I need to do is make it a little bit higher by putting some extra wood on the top, and then I've got all the net, so it shouldn't take too long. I just need to get some more wood just to go along the roof and around the sides. And then as well as all that, there's the chickens to sort out, because the chicken adventure is a go ahead now. And I've sorted all the wood I need out for the walk-in run, but I think my main priority is to get everything planted, to get the fruit cage netted, and then I can focus on the chickens. But it's going to be a long day and there's so much to do, so I better get started. So I've taken all the Swiss chard out and then just dug it over lightly and raked it over to a fine tilth, or as fine as it's going to be. This soil here gets really dry really quick because it gets the sun practically all day, so it's going to need a lot of watering. But the cabbages which I am growing are the same as last year. They are a red variety called Red Drumhead. They were really good last year. I did only get about 4 out of 6 good sized heads from them, but they were really delicious, and we pickled some and we're actually still eating it now. But these are going to go here, and then next door there's going to be 1 row of kale which is growing at home. That variety is called Scarlet and it's a purple kale, to match the purple cabbage, of course. And then there's garlic next door, and then the pumpkins will be going here. So let's get the cabbages in. So I'm going to use a dibber just to dib the holes. Now they need to be spaced about 12 to 14 inches apart, and about 4 inches deep. So if I make one here, because I'm going to be putting a cage around the brassicas like I did last year to stop the butterflies. We didn't have any trouble with the butterflies last year, so the cage must have worked. Let's try and get these out now. I hate these plastic things. Right. So they need to be 4 inches deep. Oh, I need to make that a bit bigger. The root systems are massive on these because they've obviously been waiting to come out for a while now. They've been in the cold frame waiting patiently to be planted out. 6, 8. So if I do them 14 inches apart, just to allow them to grow that little bit bigger, because obviously if you plant them closer together, you'll get smaller cabbages, which I mean is perfectly fine. So there should be room for about 6 here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 6 cabbages, which is what I grew last year, which is more than enough for our family. But they are really nice pickled. We pickled some of the ones last year. We didn't actually make any coleslaw with the ones we grew last year, which would have been nice, but maybe this year, hopefully. So 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So after I've put the red cabbages in, I'll put the 2 pumpkins in, which are going in the brassica bed, because this was the only bed available for the pumpkins. I don't think there's going to be really enough room for the pumpkins, but we shall see. Now it's time to get the pumpkins in. I'm growing 2 varieties. I don't know if there's really enough room to grow 2 varieties here, but I'm going to squeeze them in. Hopefully I'll be able to maybe put some of the vines and the leaves up on the chicken wire fence if there's not enough room. But the giant variety, I'm only going to want 1 pumpkin from that. So I'm hoping they won't take up too much room. There's about a metre here by 3 metres. Last year I grew 2 pumpkins called Mars, and they were quite small pumpkin variety, but they grew really well. I was really chuffed with them. But we're having a little competition with my dad on who can grow the biggest pumpkin. So we both got this giant Atlantic pumpkin. So we've got 1 each, and we're going to see who can grow the biggest. I think he's going to win, but I'm going to try my hardest. So I'm going to put this giant one here at the back, but I'm putting him roughly here just because then I can make sure that he trails backwards, and then the Crown Prince one will go at the front, and then he will trail backwards as well, so they take up the whole space. Whereas last year I did it the other way around, so there was like a massive gap at the front with no pumpkins in. So let's get this one in. He desperately needed planting out. The first leaves were dying off. I would have liked to have put some manure into the hole before I planted it, but I don't have any left, so I might just mulch it with a layer later on when I can get my hands on some. There we go. He is in. So let's get the Crown Prince one in. Now the Crown Prince variety is a lovely blue colour. The flesh, the outside is blue, and then the inside is orange. And it's from Sarah Raven catalogue, and I just basically liked it because it was different. It's unusual. I like to grow things that are a little bit unusual, and I thought it was worth a go. It's meant to taste really nice as well, so that's always good. So he's going to go at the front so he can trail backwards. I don't know why I'm calling it a he. And that is done. So the pumpkins won't need protecting, they just need protecting from the slugs. But what I might do is put a tunnel over the red cabbage, just for now, just until I have time to put the brassica frame up. And then obviously in a couple of weeks, hopefully the kale will be big enough to plant out, and then that will be this whole brassica bed done. now these supports are all up, I can get to planting the French beans in there. Now the variety I'm growing is a climbing French bean and it's called Cobra. Now I grew these last year and they did quite well. Not as well as I had hoped, but I think that's because I planted the broad beans on the other side and they got sheltered from the sun quite a lot, and because I let the broad beans grow far too high, it didn't give them enough light, so they didn't really grow as tall as I really would have liked. But hopefully this year they'll be really good. Now I'll also just mention that I sowed them in these root trainers. So there's a tractor going past. There's so many tractors going past today. Anyway, I sow these in the root trainers. I do these with the beans and the sweet peas, and they grow really well just because it obviously allows the roots to grow nice and long. Let me get that out. Like that. And they're really quite, what's the word? Durable. This is their second year now, so they lasted quite well, the root trainers. So what I've done is I have built the support, so each bamboo is 6 inches apart and then the spacing is 12 inches. So there is 16 bamboos down each side, which will hopefully give me a lot of French beans later in the year. And then what I'm going to do when these are all finished with later on, which will be around August time, I will plant in their space some dwarf variety of French beans. And then what usually happens is you get a nice little harvest from them, because I did that last year as well, the second growing season. But I will go into that in more detail in another episode, because it's going to take me a long time to get all these French beans in. So we're going to plant out two of my favourite crops from last year, which are the Borlotto beans and the climbing Munchkin pumpkins. And I grew them here last year over the Archway and they just did so well. I mean, the Munchkin pumpkins, I think from overall 5 plants I got about 35 little tiny pumpkins, so the harvest was really great on them. So this year I'm going to have 6 Munchkin pumpkins just because they stored really well. So it's going to be 3 this side and 3 the other side. Obviously their leaves spread out quite a lot. And then the Borlotto beans, there's just going to be 1 per hazel rod. I think there's 10, well there's 7 hazel rods, and then I put 3 bamboos along here. And there's also sweet peas climbing up there. Now they're doing really well. Last year I had sweet peas climbing up there and the sweet peas just disappeared. I don't know where they went. I think it was because the pumpkins and the beans sort of overshadowed them a bit, but the sweet peas have a head start this year. So I'm hoping that there's going to be lots of sweet peas and lots of beans and lots of pumpkins on this archway. This is the best thing that I've put on my plot, just because it's so small. Like I said before, there is very limited space, so having the archway or having anything that grows vertical is just perfect really, because I wouldn't have had the space for the beans or the pumpkins or the sweet peas if I didn't have the archway. And last year it just did brilliantly, and in the high season in summer it was really hard to walk through the archway just because all the pumpkins were going crazy. but I love it, and I can't wait to see it in full bloom again. So I'm going to plant the borlotto beans out first, and then I will put the pumpkins in. What I might do is just gently tie the pumpkins onto the rods just to keep them off of the floor, and then it's just a matter of leaving them be and hoping that they grow as well as last year. Wait, so that one can go there, that one there, and that one there. So the last thing I'm going to plant out today is the globe artichoke. Now, I bought the seed from Sarah Raven, and the variety is Violet de Provence. Now, I've never grown globe artichoke before. I've never even tasted a globe artichoke before. But I thought I will put one into this flower bed. And if I don't like the taste of them, then at least the flowers are going to look pretty, and at least the bees are going to love it as well. So I'm going to place this one here. Now I'm giving it roughly about 60 to 70 centimetres in diameter spacing, because they do grow quite big. So it's going to go in this corner here. Hopefully give some nice height to this corner of the plot. And I can't wait to taste it, actually. I have no idea what it tastes like, but it's worth a try. You've got to try new things. I have heard that they're quite hard to grow from seed, and I know that they take a year or two to produce any good heads. So it's just going to be one of those things I'm just going to leave and let it grow. And the flowers are really nice as well. That's probably one of the main reasons why I want to grow it. So that's going to go in this corner of the flower bed, and then this entire flower bed will be done. So I'm just going to get that in now. Find my trowel. Oh, I'm always losing it. Where is it? Seriously, where is the trowel? There's the trowel. I'm always putting things down and never remembering where I put them. I have a really bad memory. So just put him in there, give him a little push down, and then I'll give him a little water. I think those frogs in the pond are doing a really good job at keeping the slugs down, because touch wood, it's really good here. Oh, touch wood, I haven't seen a slug at all this year, and there haven't been any slug damage to any of my plants. And now that I've said that, they'll probably be loath. But no, seriously, I haven't seen a slug. I haven't seen any evidence of there being a slug. So I am putting that down to the frogs. They are doing their job. They are earning their keep. Right, so just give that a water. There are so many frogs in the pond. There's one right there. Looks like he's going to pounce in a minute. so I'll try not to scare him. I can count 3 heads poking out of the water. The most I've counted is about 5 frogs. I could literally just sit here all day watching them, but I'm not. I'm going to tell you about the flowers which I planted out a couple of nights ago. So this whole area has been planted out now, as well as the flower patch over there, the new one. I grew all the seedlings at home in the greenhouse and they've been dying to get out, so I've just spaced them with about 20 centimetres diameter around them. I'm hoping I've given them enough room, and I'm also hoping that the whole area will just be jam-packed, because I just want it to look really wild and just jam-packed with lots of flowers. So the flowers which I have planted out, I've got a list of them in my allotment book. There's some wild carrot, there's some dianthus, there's some sea holly, gypsophilia, there's some bunny's tail grass as well, there's some Linaria moricana, there's some scabious. There's actually 2 varieties of scabious. One's a tall variety and then one's just a pincushion variety, because I grew them last year and I really like them, so I thought I'd have 2 varieties. There's also some malop, some oxeye daisies, there's giant sunflowers along the back, there's also a smaller variety of sunflower called Junior over there, there's a delphinium which is actually just stopped blooming. It bloomed beautifully about 2 weeks ago and now it's just died off, and there's another one shooting up. There's also some verbena there, there is a hollyhock there, and the foxglove is out and it looks absolutely beautiful, and the bees are loving it as well, and it's such a beautiful pink colour. I love it. So yes, that is everything. Oh, there's also some borage as well which I planted over there, and there's some flowering chamomile in this area. There's also some calendula and some ranunculus as well. There are a lot of flowers there, but like I said, I want it to just look a bit wild, a bit like a cottage garden. Oh, there's also a poppy called Candy Floss as well. I've put all the list of the flowers which I'm going up over on my blog, just in case I've confused you all with all the names. No, I think that's all the flowers. Yes, that's all the flowers. Oh no, there's a cosmos, a dwarf cosmos as well. I keep seeing ones. No, but that's it. Yeah, that's definitely it. So yeah, all these areas have been planted up now. It's just a matter of letting everything grow. And hopefully there'll just be loads of flowers, because it will look really nice. And the roses are blooming. They're blooming really early this year. This front rose is called Katie's Rose. I got it for my birthday last year. This bit here was actually leaning over into the water, and it looked really nice, but all the petals are falling in the water now, so I thought I'd just stake it up. That's just a shrub bush rose. There's another rose at the back there called Penny Lane. That's a climbing rose. That has 1 rose on it, but it's looking a little bit sparse. But it's grown a lot since last year. So they're only both a year old, so there's still plenty of time. And I'm hoping that the climbing rose will one day just cover this entire side of the shed and maybe up onto the roof as well. And also in this area there's a grapevine which is growing beautifully. It desperately needs a trellis behind it, but I'm waiting to net the fruit cage, so then I can attach the trellis to that afterwards. But these areas are done. I just can't wait to see them in bloom, and I'm sure the frogs are going to love them as well. They especially loved the calendula last year, so I put one here, so hopefully that will create a nice little area for them, and there's one over the other side as well. But I put an evergreen grass around the other side so that there's somewhere for the frogs to hide in throughout the entire year. But the frogs seem really happy, and they make me happy, so that's what it's all about. So that's all my jobs done for today, and it's starting to get really cold and windy. The only thing I haven't done today, which is what I wanted to do, was plant out the dill and the nasturtiums in the brassica bed. Because there's still the kale to go in, and it's only literally like 2 inches high. I'm going to wait at least another week to plant that out, so I thought I'll wait to plant out the dill and the nasturtiums just so that they're ready to go in when that bed's complete. Otherwise I'll be trampling all over them when I'm putting the kale in, and also I'll be able to space them out between the kale and the red cabbage. But so far everything's looking really good, but it's time to go home because I'm starting to get cold now. The next video will probably just be more planting out. Hopefully the kale will be going out, and there's a few more flowers which I want to fit in somewhere, although I'm not sure where yet because I'm running out of room. And there's obviously the fruit cage to net, there's the chicken run to build. Yeah, there's still quite a lot to do, but I'm cracking on with it. And now that the evenings, they don't get dark till like 9 o'clock now, so it gives me time to get up here in the evenings, which is great. But that is it for this video. I'll probably do an update one as well somewhere, because we haven't done an updated video in absolute ages, and we'll pop over to my dad's as well because we haven't seen his plot in ages either, because I've been really behind and really rubbish at posting pictures on. But that is it for this one, so thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.